Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Rhyme of the Times for the weekend of 1st of March 2025. There's widespread dread from the things Trump has said, which he's been fed by Putin, who seems to have got inside his head. At the UN, the US gets in bed with the Reds. Macron and Starmer visit Trump as the transatlantic alliance hangs by a thread, but isn't quite yet dead. Zelensky's head-to-head with Mr Bighead goes down like a balloon made of lead. The German state has a new head, but there's right trouble ahead. On Sunday, Zelenskyy was promising to quit in exchange for Ukraine's NATO membership. A good exchange, or had he just had enough? Or was he simply calling Donald Trump's bluff? Trump had claimed that, if Zelenskyy resigned, an immediate peace agreement could be signed. One of the most critical demands of Kyiv is NATO membership being achieved. But still, America kept doubling down. Zelenskyy once did stand up. Many think Trump's a clown. And on Monday, America was joking again when, with 17 other states, it refused to blame Russia for its invasion of Ukraine. Even China didn't veto, it just abstained. While America was acting up at the UN, President Macron was entering the lion's den, meeting Donald Trump on his home patch with a diplomatic message to dispatch. With compliments in soft tones, Macron spoke. Trump's tummy was tickled, his ego was stroked, pulling him up on some of his bigger lies. Donald, it's not nice to tell lies to your allies. But overall, to put it precisely, concisely, Emmanuel and Trump played along quite nicely. Although with handshakes resembling an arm wrestle, there was still a power struggle left unsettled. In the final statements in front of the press, Macron used his turn to make a cogent address, pushing Trump in front of the media pack to make sure America has Europe's back. While Trump's spiel was repetitive and meandering, but at least there was little Putin pandering. What's inside Trump's head is a plot that thickens, turning European leaders into headless chickens. Slowly but surely they are now realising that their defence spending needs serious revising. And having tried to persuade Europe, it wasn't surprising that Starmer pushed for the UK's to be rising. In the Commons on Wednesday, the matter was discussed. The Prime Minister said it was a case of needs must for defence spending to go up immediately to 2.5% of GDP. Most agreed with this 0.2% increase. The real question was from where the funds would be released. The foreign aid budget was the pot chosen, which caused a significant Commons commotion. The main argument that opponents cited was that the decision was just plain short-sighted. Foreign aid helps create peace and reconciliation, which leads in turn to less conflict and migration. Less conflict and migration leads to less expense required in the future to be spent on defence. On Friday came the resignation of Annalise Dodds. She and Starmer on this issue were too much at odds. The Overseas Development Minister jumped the day after her boss met with President Trump, so that when Keir and the US President met, Starmer was still backed by a united cabinet. And he would certainly have wanted things that way as he flew for his audience with Trump on Thursday. He was going, no doubt, with some trepidation and the anticipation of the whole of our nation. He arrived at the White House with a letter intended to make the meeting go better. In an invitation from King Charles III, an official state visit upon Trump was conferred. And thereafter, just like the tete-a-tete with Macron, the two leaders seemed to somehow get on. Same time, same place, but fast forward 24 hours and Zelenskyy visited Trump's ivory towers. But this time no sign of hearts and flowers. With Trump's home advantage and presidential powers, led down the garden path and through the gate, Zelenskyy found J.D. Vance lying in wait. The US Vice President then tossed his bait, told Zelenskyy he should learn how to negotiate. And so the meeting, with Ukraine's future at stake, descended into a diplomatic earthquake. With a tantrum not unlike that of a toddler, the US President threw one massive wobbler. The mineral deal was paused, the press pack sent packing, with Zelenskyy having taken a verbal whacking. He may have left with his tail between his legs, but most thought Trump and Vance had been just the dregs. They wanted Zelenskyy to apologise, which was the wrong way round in most people's eyes. Ukraine's leader continued his media interviews, but saying sorry he refused, including to Fox News. And then he beat a hasty retreat and got a hero's welcome at Downing Street. On Monday, this mad world was stopped in its tracks, the airways filled with Roberta Flack tracks. That voice, so delicate and yet so strong, killing us softly with beautiful songs. The first time ever I saw your face conjures in many minds a time and a place. At 88 years old, she has now passed away. A voice of the 70s, but admired to this day. On Sunday, the results of the German election showed politics heading in the right direction, or wrong direction for those fearful of the right. The far-right AfD gave Europe a fright. Runners-up to the CDU in a ground-shifting fight.